What's up, everybody? It's Chad, Powers BMX Shop, Powers BMX Museum. We're here with an idol of mine growing up, a legend, Ryan Nyquist.
What's up?
What's up, man?
Dude,
thank you for coming through.
First of all, thank you for having a BMX bike shop, man.
Dude,
It's such a rarity.
you.
I brought my son here because I was like, you should see what a BMX shop is because it just does not exist at the level it should. So thank you for keeping this alive.
Dude, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Dude, we, I don't know if you remember this, but a year ago, you ordered a rim from us. And I sent you a Ziploc bag. I just blew air in it.
Yeah.
I wrote fart in a bag for Fart Friday.
Yeah, I did get that. I was a little creeped out, but I was like, that's cool though.
Yeah, it was just air. I didn't fart in it.
I don't know if I opened it. I probably did. I probably was like, okay.
I'm sure you did. Dude, so yeah, Ryan just walked in a little while ago. We haven't walked through the museum at all. He hasn't looked in here. But usually I start off, like, do you remember your first photo in a magazine and your first cover?
I remember my first photo, and it was for, there was a company, local company called 4 Bikes, and they were like my first major, well, I guess first sponsor.
Yeah.
But like, they didn't ever give me a bike. It was never really anything except for a couple bikes made, and I think the owner had them. And then I got an ad from him, and that was my first one. It was like a nothing. And I was like, no way.
Do you remember what magazine, what issue of magazine it was?
I don't remember the issue at all. It was like probably 90, geez, it would have been like 96, 95 maybe.
Yeah, was it Ride?
Probably BMX Plus.
Okay.
I'm thinking, or maybe Ride.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try to find it?
Yeah.
Oh my, geez, look at
Yeah,
this.
this is the library, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We have almost every magazine ever printed, but
No way, dude.
so you said like 95-ish?
Yeah, but now that you're about to pull it out, maybe it was Ride. Like, I don't honestly. It was so long ago, man. Yeah, it might have been
If you saw
Ride.
the cover, you don't know?
I don't.
What about your first cover?
Dude, that could have been. It could have been 99 X Games.
Yeah.
Like from like an ice pick on a sub, or it could have been from, I think it was Ride. There was like a Greenville issue, and it was like from my backyard mini. I was doing like a unlook down on the quarter.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know what year that would have been either. Oh, just pulled it right out there.
Boom.
So this is, if you can zoom in, we called this a fish hook because my mouth is just, looks like it's caught on the brake lever. And it just turn it. Like, so that's just, I don't know. I think I got a wandering eye as well. There's a lot of fun little gems in this little cover here.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like that tank bike, that was like a back trail. That thing weighed so much. And then those shin guards, like the signature shin guards. Yeah, man, that's crazy. You just pulled that out, man.
Yeah. Dude.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Have to.
Man, okay. Pressure's on.
Don't screw this up. That's so professional.
Dude.
That's sick. Have you signed many of these?
I honestly don't know. I mean, like maybe like in the year or two after, like there might have been some floating around, but like that whole time period is like such a blur. Like we were so busy competing and just nonstop going to contests. Like there was a time period like for my taxes, you had to put in how many years or how many days out of the year you traveled, and it was like 220 something.
Whoa.
And I remember just being like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know, but it was like there was so many contests going on, like between like DK dirt circuits, King of Dirts, like GT King of Dirts. There was like BS series. There was like random ones that like Gravity Games. I think it was. I don't even know. That might have been Gravity Games era. X Games. I mean, it was like there was literally too many contests to hit. So like you were just bouncing around the country.
That's so insane.
And then not to mention international stuff. Like you go over there too. Not nearly as much, but like there'd be stuff going on there. So it wouldn't be, I mean, unusual to hit like 30 contests in a year. You know, like that would be like a pretty heavy year, but like it was out there. So I mean, I wish it was like that for these kids. Like they'd be just flying all over the place. There'd be a lot of broke parents too.
my most traveled race year traveling to the circuit was I was gone for 36 weekends.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just like, that's so
much.
BMX
race, like you guys you went through it. There was a lot of traveling on that one for sure.
What about like, give me, if you don't mind, a good road full story.
I think the the one that's the most favorite is like I came on there and I had ordered I think like 10 pounds of Butterfingers to get delivered, and they showed up and they were in these big massive boxes, and then we had just rode, I think it was the Flow skate park in Ohio, and then I pedaled across the freeway to like a store where they had a blender and got some milk and ice cream and just started making Butterfinger milkshakes, mainly because I wanted one.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want one of these, but then it was like just turned into a thing where it just started handing them out and stuff, and that was really fun. But you know, I think I don't know, like I was always really stoked when Crandall invited me to be a part of the FBM team, and I was just as a horror rider, but just like kind of just to shake things up, you know, like bring in a ringer and hang out, and that was for me one of the coolest experiences because I just hopped on a bus with these guys. I didn't know anybody except for Crandall, and it was like I could tell they had a lot of questions, and they were, you know, like, you don't know about me, and I'm like this other side of the sport, right? And to be able to sit down and allow them to ask questions, and then I had a ton of questions too. I was like, what, you know, like I don't know any of you, so like it was like this really cool opportunity for us to like just talk, and I think it was like slowly realize that like, hey, like he just likes to ride bikes. And I was the same way. I was like, you guys, you know, I see you guys in the video blowing stuff up. Like, that looks really fun. I'm a little nervous. Like, are we going to be doing that right now? Please tell me if you're going to shoot mortars at me. But it was like this really cool opportunity. And I learned so much from that moment because from that point forward, if I went to like a Metro Jam, which was like an unusual place for someone like me to be, you know, like I was the guy that was at X Games and stuff like that, not necessarily at Metro, but like I'd be on a deck with somebody and I could tell they saw me, they weren't going to say anything. So I was like, I'm going to break the ice and just say, hey, man, what's up? My name's Ryan. And it would be like, oh dude. I mean, hey, dude, like, I'm so-and-so. And that was like, that was such a cool thing because it was like, man, like, if you let your mind go, you would just think like, oh, that dude doesn't like me. Oh, that person, I don't know what they got against me. You know, and there's a lot of that going around back then because I had sponsors, some people didn't. There was a lot of weird stuff going on, but it was like, if I just made that first initial step to saying hello, like, it usually broke the ice to where it was just like, dude, like, heck yeah, you know, you talk about the course, you talk about whatever.
Just even now, like, right when I met you when you walked in, I was like, oh my God, like,
dude.
Starstruck.
But it's like, but I learned that from Crandall, and and that was like probably one of the coolest lessons I learned BMX is just like, you just take the initiative and say hi, like, because if you sit there and you think about it too much or you don't say hi, maybe you catch a weird like glare or look, you can think, oh, that person doesn't like me. And it's like, no, like that person is probably nervous to say hi, and I'm just as nervous to say hi because I don't know you. It's like, let's just say hi.
Yeah, and we just want to ride bikes.
Yeah, and that was by far, that was a lesson I learned specifically because Crandall invited me on the Mega Tour, right? The FBM team. So, yeah.
Oh,
very
man.
cool.
What about
There's my son Jameson. There you go. Just took
what do you think about the BMX shop?
Took a dump.
Thanks for taking a dump here.
Yeah. Did you flush?
Did you wash your hands? Gross.
Did not.
Did not. What? Do you remember your first bike?
My first bike ever, yeah.
Like
it was
first BMX-ish bike?
Yeah, it was a Kent.
Yeah?
A Kent brand, and it was like black with like red anodized parts. And my parents told me I broke it, and so I had to get a new one. But I think now that I'm thinking about it, I outgrew it.
Yeah.
And then they got me like a Diamondback Viper
Chrome
one. And then I don't know what happened to that one, but then I think after that is like slowly when I started like kind of wanting to get into BMX. And my older brother was into BMX, so then he had like a red line that was like white with like an actual rotor on it.
Yeah.
And that was sick. And then I got on layaway from this really cool bike shop down the road called, I think it was Mr. Hills, but like a Haro Sport.
Really?
And I remember it was like white, and I think it was maybe white and chrome with like the teal where the sticker stopped and then chrome it. You probably have it. Look, he's gonna pull out my bike. It's like, this is actually your original bike. I
mean, we have a Sport. It's not the white. It's a blue version.
Yeah, so it was more in line with like kind of like this. But I remember I had it and I was like, dude, I didn't know what Haro was, but it was like a freestyle bike. It had like everything, the gyro or the rotor and all that stuff. And I was like, this is so cool. But I remember it was a Sport because it was like, people at the bike rack would look at it and be like, what's a hard sport? And because the sticker looked like hard, and I was like, oh, it's Haro. It's Haro. But yeah, that was like my first freestyle.
How many times do you have to correct people for calling it Haro?
There's a lot of that. Haro. Yeah, I'm like, well, hello.
That's crazy. So your first like legit BMX bike was a Haro.
Yeah, it was a Haro Sport, and then after that, I got like a race bike, which was a Boss.
Cool.
And that was like NorCal, like local like company. And I had that for a while. You got a Boss
I
jersey?
think I got a Boss uniform hanging right here somewhere. Might be on the other one. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so I had that, and then that was cool. But then I was like, by that point, I'd already been kind of dirt jumping, and I was like, okay, this isn't the right bike. And so then I really wanted a Mongoose Solution, the Fuzzy Hall one. And I remember calling like the bike shop and trying to order it, and they just kept saying it was delayed. And I was like, I don't want to wait anymore. My bike was falling apart, and so I had enough money because the Solution was like $300 and some. It was like aluminum. At the time, I didn't know, but it was like a race frame, but it was like fuzzy, and I loved fuzzy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, what else is there? And then I ordered an S&M dirt bike.
Cool.
And then rode that for a while. And then, yeah, after that, it was just like kind of ordering things as I kind of learned more about BMX. I had like a standard. Yeah, man, there was a ton of stuff. I rode like a shorty that my buddy had, bended the rear end on that. And then, so yeah, we went through bikes and we just kind of like trade and like just keep it rolling.
When was Haro your first real, like, well, not that the other company wasn't real, but like.
No, yeah, so the first, I guess, like, sponsor I had where they were like gonna invest in me and like send me a contest was Bontrager.
Okay.
And so Bontrager is like, it's a mountain bike company, but they were out of Santa Cruz, and Keith Bontrager, who's like a legend in the sport, was like, wanted to make us bikes. The dimensions were kind of weird. Like you could like put the crank strap down and kickstand it. So super low bottom bracket. But he was like the first one to really be like, hey, we have an account at this bike shop in Santa Cruz. Just go and get what you need to like build it up. And I was like, oh, so okay. We're like, you know, like Peregrine, like the 48s, like, you know, everything we needed. And I was like, this is insane. Like, so that was like a shopping spree of like all the parts that I needed and like the best parts. And he was like, whatever you need, like it doesn't matter. And
so was that like 95-ish?
Yeah, 96. That would have been 96. Because then I started doing contests.
I have one Bontrager here.
Do you really?
Yeah. I don't know which one. Was it like the freestyle one? Did they make an actual freestyle one?
They did, but I don't know.
We'll get to this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
There's Gary Fisher. That was like the same.
Yeah.
Same thing. Was it the B1?
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. I honestly don't even know. This is definitely like I didn't have this.
I think this one was later, so.
Yeah, I didn't have this one like on there. But yeah, dude, that's crazy. So mine, can you put the kickstand up?
Just almost.
Almost. Yeah, so like mine was like, the very first one I had was like, God, this thing flipped up. I think it was orange.
Okay.
Like a bright orange. And then they didn't have any like proper jerseys, so I had a mountain bike zip up jersey, like Rasta. And that was like, they sent me to a couple contests, like the BS ones in like Chicago, New York, and then down in San Diego. And I kind of hit the scene pretty quick. And I just had this crazy jersey, like zipper, like it just did not belong. But in hindsight, it was like that got me noticed. Like probably not for the right reasons, rather than that. But it was like, all right, like who's this kid? And I was just a box jump warrior.
Yeah.
Like I could barely jump a spine. I could barely hit quarter pipes, but I could hit a box jump and I could spin and twist and all this stuff. And so like I remember my first contest. I went out there and I rode for like 6 hours. Just hit the box jump with everything I knew how to do. And then right when they were about to start qualifying, I was like, I'm so hungry. Like I haven't eaten anything all day. I couldn't eat anything that morning. I was so nervous. Yeah, that's
awesome.
wild, man. That's a trip. You got a Bontrager. You got the complete too, because it's like Santa Cruz, the stem. Dude, that's wild.
Do you remember what came after that?
After the Bontrager?
Yeah.
Haro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 96 to 97, and then right then and there, Bontrager was going to get bought by Trek, which was a huge conglomerate.
Yep.
And then they and I really liked Bontrager. They treated me well. They were sending me places, and I was like, I don't want to leave them. And this was like my junior year in high school. And so they kind of like were like, hey, well, we're, getting bought by Trek, and we're wondering if you would, like, they don't want us to have like a team anymore. So like, would you consider riding for either Gary Fisher or Trek? And I was like, maybe. But I just was like, it was a really weird feeling because like the Bontrager family was like so nice to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know about this. And then I got an offer from Mongoose, and Mongoose was interesting because they were in Morgan Hill, which was right around the corner from me. So I actually went into their office, sat down, and they were like, give me a tour. And they're like, so yeah, what we would like you to do is like, maybe we'll give you a salary, but we want you to come in the office and help us like product development and like working on stuff. And I was like, okay. I was like, do I get like a travel budget? And they were like, well, sometimes we might be able to do that. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. And then Haro came in, and this is right when I think Todd Lyons was making a switch to Huffy.
Okay.
And so they had an opening, and then they asked me to ride for him, and I was like, all right. And I remember it was like the biggest decision of my life. I worked at like Jiffy Market, and I was basically like, I get like $300 a month from this place, so I need to get at least 300. And I remember being so nervous because I was like, should I ask for like 350? Should I like up it a little bit and tell them that's what I get and that's what I need to quit my job? And I ended up doing that, and then that's like my first contract with Haro, 1997.
Okay.
And then every year after that, like Todd Lyons tried to get me on Huffy, so he would have them send me an offer, and that would increase my salary because I'd go back and forth. And like, dude, it was like, and that was like me also being senior in high school and then moving on. I went to school like for mechanical engineering and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and that was very short-lived because I just wanted to ride. I couldn't concentrate. It was just like, you know, you start meeting your heroes on the road, and I'm supposed to be doing like drafting homework and all this stuff, and like meanwhile like Mira and McCoy and all these guys are downstairs like hanging out, and I'm like, what am I doing, dude? Like, so yeah, I ended up leaving college with like a .78 grade point average, and figured I'd always go back. But sorry, that was a big tangent, but
Dude,
you just brought me back right there, man.
I'm so stoked on this. Like, I mean, not the same realm, but like there's what, 30 customers over here, and I'm just back here talking to you.
Sorry about that, man.
Idols, like,
hopefully they're not walking out with some parts.
Yeah, right. Danny's over there. So your first Haro bike, was that like a Blammo?
Yeah, it would have been a yellow Blammo. They sent me 2 of them.
Did you ride those the rail pegs? What are they called?
Yeah.
Oh my God! All right.
Oh man, here you go. Yep.
Come out. Yeah. So I have the Haro bash guard for it in the back that I just recently got.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, they sent me. It was like the biggest package I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
It was so huge, and it was basically 2 complete bikes. And it was, so like, if you can imagine, like, wheels, cranks, bars, everything, it was like, they sent me 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they sent me those Railmaster pegs.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, going up for a grind on a vert ramp, and it, like, hit the axle, or the dropout, and went shkunk on it, like, it fits. So if you look close, it's literally the shape of, like, it's supposed to grind on a handrail.
Were they terrible?
Yeah. I took them off immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to put on my Primo Stiffies.
Yeah.
I'm going to put those back on. But yeah, and then I slowly got different parts and stuff. But yeah, I mean, those same bars, I used to run slam bars. And so I would put those on the ground and have a big old pipe and bend them as close to slams as I could.
Cool.
To make them feel good. Because those have like 2 degrees of sweep, maybe 1. And it's just, you could never tell if they were like forward or backwards until you actually like rode it. And you're like, oh no, my shoulder's about to dislocate.
Dude, it's so true. Right. Like, look at that.
There's barely any sweep on that. That's the way Mira loved him.
Yeah.
He loved no sweep. He loved it like that.
Oh man. And then I sent you a message about that green back trail right there a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
still like.
Is this an American made one? It looks like it. It looks like it's American made. Oh my! It feels like it's American made. Oh my God! It's so. Oh my God! It's so heavy. Oh.
So I.
Jesus.
This. Yeah. Right.
This is nuts. I can't. Oh my God! My shoulders hurt.
So, a dude bought this at one of the Dave Muir benefit auctions.
Yeah.
And it has like paperwork and everything for
That's
it,
not
saying that you signed it and everything.
No, that's not me, but we can fix that.
Okay,
yeah,
that would be cool.
We can fix that. That's not my signature.
Yeah.
They tried pretty hard.
Dang.
Yeah, I think that might have been just somebody in the office or maybe one of my agents or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But like that's definitely not me, but I will definitely sign that for you.
Well, there.
Oh, dude, there you go. Yeah. You want me to put fake and then real?
That would be awesome.
I'll just sign it up here. How cool is that, man?
But yeah, this was sold at a legit auction with like
Yeah.
paperwork and everything. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So now you got. That's a funny story, man.
But yeah, this is, I mean, one of the nice American-made ones, right?
I mean, yeah, it's got the USA sticker
Yeah.
on there, so it feels the weight's about right. I mean, we went through a period of time where we just, I mean, a lot of bike companies did, but you just overbuilt because the tubing quality was just crap, quality control was crap, and so it was just like the only way around not breaking bikes was to overbuild them.
Yep.
And so like, I mean, the nuke sprocket, everything, it's like, you know, you're talking like, you know, 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch thick of just aluminum.
Yeah.
And that's so that way if you hung up, it didn't like just completely fold. Like, you know, like there was a period of time when 97 X Games, I went through maybe 4 frames.
Really?
And they were
Just at the X
they were in
Games?
San Diego, and that's my fault, but I wasn't the smoothest rider in the bracket, but like, you know, I'd hang up and it would ovalize the head tube.
Really?
And that was before, I mean, if you look now, like those ones are so thick and beefy, it's like that's the result, like because we kept ovalizing the head tubes to the point, like, I mean, that's what's on the Blammo.
Yeah.
Like it's a really thin,
Real
like
super thin.
mild steel or something,
Yep.
but like it just wasn't holding up. And so that's why we eventually beefed up the head tubes, beefed up the frames, and then that was the only thing that kept it from bending the rear end off it or ovalizing the head tube. But then we slowly realized, like, oh, okay, we're also sacrificing our backs here, you know, like trying to get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
The first time I built one of those up, the very first one I got, I was actually in Wilmington at Mira's warehouse. And I remember I built it up, I was so excited, and I took it in the back, and I went to drop it in the Mini. And when I dropped in, the momentum and the weight of that thing, I remember it like, it just kept going, and it like left me behind. I was like, what is going on here? It was so heavy, but it was like, that's what you wanted because you knew you weren't gonna break anything, you know, and that was just like, the solution is just like, just make it thicker, make it bigger, make it heavier, so.
Like that 2-hip pork.
Yeah, the
like-
pork, man. Cameron Birdwell rode that bike, but yeah, that thing, I mean, it was like, that was aluminum, and that was even thicker.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, okay, but yeah, I never broke one of those.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
that's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know what other questions to keep asking.
No, this is
was
incredible. I love the fact you just keep pulling stuff out of the woodwork. Like, tell me about what's your favorite sandwich? Be like, I had it for 97, a ham
Here's the
sandwich.
BLT.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at this custom mold.
No, this is incredible, dude.
Yeah.
There's so much history in here. It's like, it's crazy. Super cool.
Do you have a favorite photo you've ever gotten in a magazine?
I don't know if I do, man, to be honest. Like it's just through the years, like, I mean, there's been stuff that people brought me recently, and I'm like, I don't even have any recollection of that. But I know I saw it because I would thumb through every magazine, you know, like looking for, you know, photos of yourself or photo contingencies, or just be able to, like, I mean, I have a ton of magazines at home, and I keep saying I'm going to, you know, clip stuff out of it or whatever, but it's like, I mean, there was a period of time there where it was like, I mean, there was so many photo shoots, so many things going on.
It's just a blur.
Contests.
Yeah.
And so the magazines were right there, every one, and you just, I mean, I was doing fairly well at them to where it was like I was getting photos in them, and so it's like there's a lot of times where it's just like, man, I must have missed this one or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just, I don't know how many years have I been doing this. 97. I'm coming up on 30 years of
Dang.
professional bike riding. Yeah.
That's so sick.
30 years with Haro. I guess I had a couple years before that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty
Man,
wild.
that's so rad. Have
Yeah.
you, so during the times with Haro, you didn't have another job
No.
yet?
No,
And you
I-
still just kind of work in the bike industry?
Me currently?
Yeah.
No, I was doing the coaching stuff
Yep.
for a while for the Olympic stuff, and that just ended. So honestly, I was kind of just burnt out on traveling.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want to really travel and miss. I had 3 boys. I was missing a lot of things at home. My wife was picking up the slack, and I could tell she was like getting tired of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know, I'm not even around. So I just got like a job locally.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is awesome. So
Making subs? No.
I mean, honestly, like it's
Yeah.
a landscape and outdoor construction company, and it's like I've never had a job,
Yeah.
and so it's my first job at 46 years old,
Man,
and I'm like, this is
That's
cool,
sick.
man. And
Congratulations on that.
No, that's a heck of a ride,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it's just like for me, I
Man,
mean,
if Ryan Nyquist showed up in my front yard to like do some landscaping, I don't know what I would do.
I got a big old bucket hat. I keep it low pro, you know. I keep the X Games medals out of there, you know.
Do they know nobody you work? Do anybody you know?
They, yeah,
do they know who you are?
some of them do, and then I obviously had to interview and all this stuff, but like,
Like,
yeah,
so
I
you
mean-
haven't worked in 30 years.
dude, my resume was like insane. It was the
Yeah.
most insane thing ever. I'm like, well, okay, like what did you do before this? I was like, oh, I was actually like an Olympic coach. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, what did you do before that? Well, I was a professional bike rider for 26 years and still kind of am. And so we had to like work out, like, I might have to do some stuff for Bobcat from time to time.
Yeah.
Or like, I might have to go on a road trip or whatever. So yeah, that was very interesting because like, they're like, well, what skills do you have? I was like, I can do truck drivers.
They're like, oh, you can drive a truck?
Yeah, no, I can do truck drivers. I don't have a CDL. I can get a CDL, but I don't know if that's we might be confusing the issue here. But,
Oh, that's so funny.
But no, so it's like I'm home now. I can be with the
Cool.
kids. I can help out. It's like that's been glorious. Like honestly, the best thing I've done in a long time. So yeah.
Dude, this has been pretty unreal for me. Just you walking in the shop.
Dude, no, it's unreal for me. I'm stoked you didn't let me come over and look because it's like I probably would have started digging around and stuff. But like there's a lot of really cool stuff in here, man. Very cool.
Did you ever get to ride the original T1 ramp?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
There's a piece of it underneath that growler sprocket right there.
Is it? Oh, that's awesome.
What else?
I need to send you a piece of the unit.
Oh, dude, yes.
I got a piece of skate light from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can just chip off a little corner. Or
There
something.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was your favorite trail spot ever?
I mean, I loved our local trails in NorCal. We had Low Cups, which I think was like kind of the time when I was really doing a lot of stuff. Calabasas is where I grew up riding.
Okay.
And that was just a dried out creek bed that you would dive in and dive out. A lot of like kind of like fly out jumps. So I think that thing's like messing up. But yeah, like just, I mean, as far as like jumps, I'm ashamed to say, but I've never ridden like Posh, Minersville, any of those like just amazing spots.
Okay.
So like that's like on my bucket list to go there. But yeah, I mean, as far as trails go, like, God, man, I don't even know. There's been so many good spots. There was a really good spot. I kind of just rode trails at home, to be honest. Like when we traveled, we didn't really get a lot. Well, I didn't take enough time to like really go out and like find spots. It was like you hit up a contest and you go home and then you like get ready for the next one. You have a couple days off.
That was like the same thing with going to races. Show up on Thursday, set up, work Sunday, go home.
And I'm kind of bummed because like of all the places we rode and traveled, it's like I don't really have like a lot of really like we just kind of went in there and did contests and went home. So didn't really get to see the world like I probably should have.
Like we've been to hundreds of cities, but never really seen them.
But I would love to ride some like proper trails and it's like for a while there it was like this weird friction of like trail and trick riders and all that stuff and I think that's gone now and so it's like I have guys inviting me out to come out to like the jams and stuff and that's
Did you ride the jumps at Gillies? The ones behind the first turn?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that first
They were good. I mean, we had rain, so it was like,
Yeah.
unfortunately it was a little soft, but no, those look like, that whole setup is incredible, man. Like you have a racetrack and a pump track and then some trails. And then you guys are like close by. They're pretty much of a skate park back there.
And
it's
trails.
Like, oh, see, it's like, dude.
And then there's the new skate park at Taylor Farms, like 3 miles this way.
Is that where they did the Rumble last year too? Or?
And then they got some dirt jumps there and a pump track. And
I mean that's
huge
like
skate park,
such an incredible scene, man. Like I mean we had some good stuff going on in Northern California, but like nothing at this scale or the accessibility really. Like to have this stuff just out in public and for kids to be able to just go and ride, like that's
we just
nuts.
approved basically a bike lane almost from the track to the skate park now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like 4-mile bike ride, but like it'll almost be all in a bike.
It's good
ride.
for you. It's good for the kids to get out there and pedal. It's uphill to here, right? Like I think I saw Cade. Cade was pedaling up the hill. And he's like, just dead. And I was like, you'll be all right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to step out back and see the jumps too?
No, I came right in here. I was like, there's like, honestly, I see a lot of ramps in my day. Bike shops are such a rare commodity where I'm like, I was really excited to come in here and just like,
see a bike
I
shop.
told you, I was like, I need brake pads. So I'm gonna buy brake pads. I'm gonna have my son come in here, check things out. I think he was over there. He might be your customer over there. But yeah, I'm like, this is such a cool, just rare thing to have specifically like a BMX shop with so many parts.
Yeah.
You can actually touch things and see the colors and like, you get a good sense online, but man, like realistically to come and like grab like a hub and just click it, like, I mean, just and hear it. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's such a cool thing. And so that's like, we could have easily just got on the road, but I was like, you know what, dude, like if there's a bike shop that's BMX specific, I was like, we owe it to like, just come there and just witness it. No, dude, it's incredible what you guys are doing. And like the fact that like you have so much stuff happening around you, like, I mean, I hope this just continues to thrive for you and just get bigger and better. Like honestly, because it's like, BMX needs us, man.
Yeah,
BMX needs you guys.
As long as people keep spending their money with us, we'll keep putting it back in the scene.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
That's how it works. You got to buy stuff.
Yep, definitely. Support local core BMX shops.
Yes, please. Yep. Yes, please.
So, dude, this was so sick. Dude.
Yeah, dude. Sorry,
Yeah.
it might have been a lot of long-winded stories in there,
dude,
but
the one with Muller
you're
was
taking
like
me
3
literally
hours.
down memory lane. I'm like, all right, let me tell some stories.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
No, man,
Yeah.
I'm stoked to be here, man. Like it's very cool, and I can't believe how much stuff you have. If I come across some things,
I'll send you a shipping label.
okay,
Yep.
that sounds fair.
Last question. Well, last question, I think. Who's your favorite rider to ride with?
Man, through the years, I feel like Rob Darden.
Yeah?
Yeah, we just like he's from NorCal. We got to ride out there a little bit. He moved to Greenville. We rode out there a lot. I mean, he knows me as a rider. I know him as a rider. He's like literally invented tricks for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, like I just really enjoy riding with him. It's always been fun. It's relaxed, but it's also like, I know I can push him and he knows he can push me. And we're like on a level, and I love that. So it's like, probably Rob has been my favorite guy to consistently ride with. But like, there's so many people. Like, I mean, I love riding with Sanat Grosic, Tobias Vica. Like, I mean, like those guys were just such powerhouses and such like a different style than I was used to riding. You know, like it was almost like an Osato, but then a newer Osato where it was like they were doing flip whips and like just, I don't know. It was just I always really liked being able to catch up with them and ride with them.
Yeah, that's sick.
But it's just, I don't know, like going on, like, you know, the Europe scene has so many cool riders and people that I've met, and that's the fun thing about BMX, man. Like, you could just literally pick a spot on planet Earth, fly in there and see another kid on a bike.
And your friends.
Your friends, you might have a place to stay. You might have like a ride somewhere. It's just like that's
lunch, like
dude, like that just doesn't have, like you can't just roll out to a baseball
baseball
diamond
field
and be
and
like,
do
hey,
that.
give me a ride. Can I stay at your house? And be like, who are you, dude? Like that doesn't translate. But in BMX, it totally does.
Yeah.
And that's been from the very first time I started riding. You know, like when I had my boss at the middle school bike racks, I had people waiting outside because they saw my bike and they're like, can we show you, like, you want to see a place for dirt jumps? And I was like, what are dirt jumps? Yeah, let's do it. I mean, that never would have happened.
Yeah,
like, I could have been out there swinging a bat and they would have been like, look at this idiot. He's playing by himself. He should have a team.
That's kind of how I got into BMX. There was like a fly out at my school and I was no clue. I was just hitting it. And then some kid walked up and was like, you ride BMX? And I'm like, what's BMX?
So excited, right?
And then we became friends that week. And then he took me to the local BMX track, like within 3 days of knowing this dude.
Yeah.
And then the following week, he took me to Robbie Miranda's trails, the Capitol trails. So
That's
like
awesome.
within 2 weeks, I went from not knowing what BMX was to
being immersed.
to the Capitol trails.
I don't know, that's such a cool thing. And I appreciate the fact that like I was able to travel the world and meet people and have people do kind things for me. It's like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and now
Richmond
I'm here.
scene-
Now I'm here just looking at this.
Right?
It's like, oh man, all right.
The Richmond scene is awesome.
It is,
Yeah.
very much so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, man, thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
dude.
that was awesome.
Thank you, bro. I
Dude,
appreciate it.
Thanks, Matt.